64th game of the Indian Premier League. It was the Royal Challengers from Bengaluru who were up against the Sunrise Hyderabad at the Ekana Stadium. Both teams not too familiar to the venue, but it was a home game for the Royal Challengers Bengaluru and a very important one as they still fight it out to finish on the top two positions on the points table so that they get two shots so that to play the final of this year's Indian Premier League. On the other end, the Sunrise Hyderabad, who have been eliminated from this year's edition of the IPL, but still out there to prove a point, playing for pride and to prove that their intent, their template of T20 cricket is the way to go ahead in the shortest format. Like always in this video, I'm going to be taking you through the key highlights of the 64th game of the Indian Premier League. The two captains in Pat Cummins and Jitesh Sharma were there out for the toss at the centre. Jitesh Sharma, who was there as a stand-in captain as Rajat Patidar wasn't playing the full game, he was in there as an impact sub, and because of that reason it was Jitesh Sharma, the vice captain, who was going to be captaining the RCB team today, and he won the toss, elected to bowl first, keeping in mind that the dew plays a big role at the Ekana Stadium. The two Sunrise Hyderabad openers came out no matter what the conditions are. Despite the conditions, they come all guns blazing, and specifically today when the wicket was looking really flat on a high scoring venue, both of them came all guns blazing and both of them tried to really push their limits and try to hit the RCB bowlers all around the park. There was no Josh Hazlewood, and that is what the Sunrise Hyderabad openers took advantage of. They really maximized the power play before both of them had to get out and return to the pavilion. After this was a batting order who hasn't been in the best of forms, and that is when a missed opportunity was given to Jitesh Sharma. A catch came down the leg off the bat of Ishan Kishan. That is when that catch was dropped, and that catch was going to cost really a lot to the RCB team, and that I will be telling you later on how, because after that it was just a one-man show, because Ishan Kishan really proved to be the way he started the season. He's trying to end the season on the very same note. He started off with a century, then had a lull all throughout the tournament, but as the tournament is coming to an end for the SRH team, he seems to be getting back into his mojo. With him was Henrik Klaasen, who too was sort of giving everything that he had. He also sort of coming back into the form, but again he had to get out after a cameo. Hasn't had a big knock so far this season, but definitely has had cameos all throughout the season. They haven't really been too useful though. Ishan Kishan in the meantime got to his half century. At not too many occasions has he gotten to celebrate this IPL season, but today was unlike them. He got to his half century, and the Sunrise Hyderabad, despite losing wickets on regular intervals, they kept the scoreboard ticking and they were going towards a score in excess of 200. That is when the finishing touches were required. Ishan Kishan and Pat Cummins, and before that with Aniket Verma sort of kept the run flow coming in the middle overs, and both of them made sure that the team ends the innings with a score of 231. 94 of the bat of Ishan Kishan, a well-deserved century is what he missed. The southpaw missed 34 from Abhishek Sharma. No other contribution as such worth mentioning, but 94 being the standout batter for the Sunrise Hyderabad. The task was cut out. The RCB batters had to play all the shots, did not need to let the scoreboard go beneath the required run rate if they wanted to have a chance in this game, and that is why Phil Salt and Virat Kohli really up the ante from the first word go. There were a few questions at mid-innings. Can Virat Kohli keep up with the run rate? But I'll tell you what, he was ahead of Phil Salt as far as strike rate is concerned to begin with. Both of them really utilized the conditions, and they were on par with the chase. But then Virat Kohli, the first wicket to fall after a well-made 40, had to return back to the pavilion, but he had done his job. The platform was laid for the other batters of RCB. Phil Salt on the other end got to his half century. He made sure that despite Virat Kohli going, he keeps the scoreboard ticking. After that, the wickets continued to fall. Mayank Agarwal got out. Mayank Agarwal had to return back to the pavilion, and so did Phil Salt had to return back to the pavilion. Both of them got out, but despite all of this, the runs were coming. Like I mentioned, the scoreboard was taking. The RCB team was up with the required run rate. They had already gotten majority of the runs in the first half of the innings. After that, there were some final blows given by Rajat Patidar, who was struggling a little bit in the center. He wasn't really looking at his best. Like I mentioned at the beginning, he had a finger injury, and because of that, he did not come out on the field to captain or do the fielding. He sort of struggled with the bat, and because of that, his stay on the pitch wasn't that long. Jitesh Sharma too got out. Wickets started to fall, and that was sort of the signs that RCB have just maybe lacked a little bit behind in that chase. This was the final nail on the coffin. Bhuvneshwar Kumar getting bowled in the middle overs. There was a Tim David who was again suffering from an hamstring injury. He really struggled. Jitesh Sharma had a sort of a small cameo in between 24 runs. The RCB team was well and truly in the game, but then later on, Romario Shepherd, Tim David, who was injured, wasn't able to give the final knocks, and because of that, the RCB team managed just 189 runs on the board, losing the game by 42 runs. This is how the scorecard looked like. Only contributions up top: 62 from Phil Salt, 43 from Virat Kohli. No other contribution, but this game has really turned the tide for the RCB team, who was sailing throughout this season. This one loss could really dent their chances. And why is that? I'll tell you right now. 13 games is what they have played. 17 points is what they have. Punjab Kings have 1 game remaining, 2 games remaining, and Gujarat have 1 game remaining. Gujarat, assuming they win, can get to 20 points, whereas Punjab Kings, even if they win 1 game, reach to 19 points. So even if they lose that game, they still are far ahead in the net run rate category. But Bengaluru, if they win the final game, that is against the Lucknow Super Giants, then at the Ekana Stadium, then they also get to 19 points. But when it comes down to the net run rate, then maybe they might miss out on a spot in the top 2. As soon as they miss out a spot in the top 2, things get really tricky, because like I've told you so many times, there is only one team in the history of the playoffs that has managed to win the title after finishing 3rd and 4th, and that was the Sunrise Hyderabad in 2016 when they defeated the Royal Challengers Bengaluru only at the Chinnaswamy Stadium. So this game might just be really hurting the RCB fans at this point, because if they would have won today, they would have definitely made their contention really strong for the top 2 position. What are your thoughts on this? You can let me know about that in the comment section below. But for now, that is all that I have got for you. I hope you are liking our coverage here on Sports Today of the Indian Premier League. So if you haven't subscribed, do not forget to press the subscribe button, like this video, share it with your friends, and press the bell icon so that as soon as we are live or there's any interesting content coming your way, you guys come to know first.